Analysis and assessment of gateway process. You tasked me to evaluate the gateway experience. And to do that thoroughly, I had to dive deep into understanding its mechanics and practicality. It turned out to be quite challenging. I started by looking at biomedical models and then delved into quantum mechanics to understand how human consciousness works, especially in relation to the brain hemisphere synchronization used in gateway. Then I explored theoretical physics to explain how expanded consciousness goes beyond the limitations of time and space in achieving gateway's goals. Lastly, I used physics to explain out-of-body states in scientific terms, removing any mystical associations to objectively assess them. My narrative started by comparing gateway to other techniques like hypnosis and meditation to understand how they function. It's tough to explain some concepts in altered consciousness with regular logic. Sometimes intuition helps. But once understood, these ideas should hold up to logical analysis. Even though I aimed to avoid judgments based on mystical beliefs, I found it crucial to briefly discuss gateway's impact on common beliefs. I wanted to clarify that gateway doesn't clash with mainstream Eastern or Western beliefs. It's important to highlight this to prevent people from rejecting gateway due to misconceptions. This study isn't the final say on gateway, but I hope its structure and ideas can guide others in USA Ines Coam who are exploring gateway or working with its materials. The best way to start explaining the Monroe Institute's gateway experience, which involves brain hemisphere synchronization or Hemisync, is by first looking at similar techniques like hypnosis, transcendental meditation, and biofeedback. By briefly describing these related methods that share similarities with gateway but have their differences, we can create a foundation to understand and explain gateway more effectively as we go along. Theories by psychologists like Ronald Stone and biomedical engineering models by Itzhak Bentov are a good basis for understanding how hypnosis works. Hypnosis allows direct access to the right side of the brain by bypassing the left hemisphere's screening function. The left hemisphere categorizes and assigns meaning to stimuli, but when it's distracted or in a semi-sleep state, suggestions can pass unchecked to the receptive right hemisphere. This can prompt emotional reactions, sensory responses, or even enhance memory by accessing untapped storage. For instance, suggesting numbness in a leg activates the corresponding brain area, inducing numbness. Similarly, suggesting happiness triggers pleasure centers, and suggesting improved memory accesses unused mental capacity. Hypnosis may relate to accelerating progress in the early stages of the gateway experience. Transcendental meditation works differently from other techniques. It involves intense concentration on drawing energy up the spine, leading to the creation of sound waves in the brain's chambers. These waves stimulate the right side of the brain, causing sensations starting from the toes and moving up. According to Bentov's biomedical model, these waves result from changes in heart rhythms during meditation, vibrating the brain's fluid-filled cavities. The pleasure experienced in this state is due to self-stimulation of pleasure centers. This process usually takes years of meditation, but exposure to vibrations within a certain frequency range for extended periods can have a similar effect. For instance, continuous exposure to specific vibrations while driving or through air conditioning can trigger this process, particularly in sensitive individuals. Biofeedback teaches using the left hemisphere to connect with the right brain areas like lower cerebral, pain centers, or pleasure centers. Unlike hypnosis that suppresses the left side, or transcendental meditation that largely bypasses it, biofeedback trains the left brain to visualize a goal and recognize the feelings tied to success in the right brain areas. Devices like digital thermometers help the left brain know when it succeeds in activating the right brain parts. Once connected, the left brain can repeatedly instruct the right brain to reinforce these pathways, achieving the same measurable success. For instance, if someone wants to speed up healing in their left leg, they focus on it while monitoring temperature changes with a thermometer. As the efforts succeed, the thermometer shows a temperature rise, which reinforces the process in the mind through memory, recall, and repetition. Biofeedback helps block pain, enhance healing, stimulate pleasure centers, and achieve various physical results. It can also speed up entry into deep meditative states, especially for beginners, by showing brainwave patterns on a screen, which helps achieve a relaxed and focused mental state. The Gateway Experience is a training program aiming to strengthen and align brain waves between the left and right hemispheres, expanding consciousness beyond physical limits and even time and space. It's different from regular meditation because it uses Hemisync, a rare state where both brain hemispheres have equal EEG patterns. This technique, developed by Bob Monroe, can be induced and sustained through audio tapes. Studies show experienced meditators can achieve and maintain this state longer. According to Dr. Stuart Twemlow's research, Monroe's tapes help focus brain energy into a narrower frequency band, akin to the concentration concept in yoga. Beyond a certain point, brainwave size gradually increases, indicating a rise in brain energy or power. The Gateway process believes that by aligning brain frequencies, the mind can accelerate to resonate at higher levels. This allows it to synchronize with more refined universal energies. When operating at these higher levels, the mind interprets received information similarly to how it understands physical senses, usually visual symbols or intuitive flashes. The Hemisync technique aims to sync up both sides of the brain by using sound frequencies that mimic brainwave patterns. When someone hears these special sounds, their brain tries to match that frequency. For instance, if you're wide awake but listen to sounds that imitate sleeping brain waves, your brain might shift from its usual active state to a more relaxed, sleepy state. Hemisync creates these brain wave-like frequencies that are usually beyond what we can consciously hear. It does this by using a trick, playing two different frequencies in each ear, and your brain hears the difference between them as a beat frequency. By taking advantage of this brain response and using these beat frequencies, the Gateway system, with Bob Monroe's guidance, introduces various frequencies that you can barely hear. These frequencies aim to calm one side of the brain, mimic a sleep-like state, and get both sides of the brain working together better. The goal? By listening repeatedly to these specially designed sounds and suggestions, Gateway helps people learn to control their consciousness. Over time, this technique might help access new information through intuition that our normal awareness doesn't pick up. The Gateway system doesn't just work by syncing brain activity with specific sounds. It also aims to bring about deep physical calm, similar to what happens during intense meditation. This calmness triggers a change in how our body's sounds resonate. Practicing yoga, Zen, or transcendental meditation for a long time can alter how the heart's sound resonates throughout the body. The bifurcation echo is where the heartbeat's sound bounces up and down the body, causing interference. Imagine it like waves colliding in a river. This interference can disrupt the natural rhythm of the heartbeat. The Gateway tapes work similarly to meditation by putting the body in an extremely relaxed state, reducing the force and frequency of the heartbeat. This fading heartbeat echo leads to a smooth, continuous sound pattern that flows throughout the body and up into the head. This new sound pattern, measured with sensitive instruments, is about 3 times stronger than the usual sound of a normal heartbeat. In Bentov's model, resonance plays a big role because it affects the brain directly. When the body's rhythmic vibrations, especially those from a deeply relaxed heart, reach the fluid around the brain, they cause the brain to move slightly up and down in a steady pattern. This movement triggers an electromagnetic pulse that stimulates the brain to produce brain waves at higher amplitudes and frequencies, much like what Dr. Twemlow observed with the Hemisync tapes. The brain, snugly enclosed in its protective membrane, experiences this rhythmic vibration from the body's micro-movements. These movements create a tuned vibrational system that sends energy into the Earth's ionosphere at a frequency around 7 to 7.5 Hertz. According to Bentov, this long wavelength signal can travel globally in a fraction of a second through the electrostatic field surrounding us, making it a potential channel for telepathic signals. Gateway aims to swiftly bring about deep calm in the nervous system, significantly reducing blood pressure and causing the entire body, including the skeleton and organs, to vibrate harmoniously at around 7 cycles per second. This resonance aligns with the Earth's electrostatic field, creating a regular repeating sound wave. The gateway tapes guide the body to sync up its vibrations with the electrostatic field around us. The exercises in these tapes help build up the body's energy field by tapping into the Earth's energy, which the body connects with through resonance. This aligns the body's energy with its surroundings, making the person more connected to the environment. As a result, consciousness can move beyond the body, because now both the body's electromagnetic field and the surrounding environment's field become one continuous energy flow. This process not only boosts brain coherence at higher levels, but also increases the body's energy levels, potentially leading to experiences like out-of-body movement when the person is ready for it. Moreover, by resonating with the Earth's electromagnetic sphere, the human body generates a strong carrier wave, aiding communication between minds that are similarly tuned in. To understand how our minds work, we first need to look at the world around us. The idea that matter and energy are separate things can be misleading. Science has shown that what we call matter, like the atoms that make up everything, isn't solid stuff as we usually think. At its core, it's all energy vibrating in different ways. Even the smallest particles, like electrons and the nucleus of an atom, are just energy grids vibrating incredibly fast. So, in a real sense, there's no such thing as solid matter. These energy grids make up everything, including us. Every part of a human, from the brain to the thoughts and feelings, is made up of these intricate energy fields. What we see as different states of matter are really just variations in how energy behaves, whether it's active and moving or still. Human consciousness, our awareness and thinking, comes from how these energies interact. It's like a dance between these different states of energy, creating what we experience as consciousness. Energy in the universe creates and holds information in a special way, like a living pattern known as a hologram. Imagine dropping 3 pebbles into a bowl of water, creating ripples that spread out. If you suddenly freeze those ripples in place on the water's surface and then shine a strong, focused light, like a laser, onto the frozen ripples, you'd see a 3D image of where the pebbles were, even though they're now at the bowl's bottom. This idea is how holograms work. Holograms pack in a lot of detail. For example, if you take a holographic image of murky swamp water and zoom in, you might see tiny organisms that aren't visible to the naked eye when you look at the actual water. In simple terms, a hologram is created by using lasers to capture and show the complex patterns of light bouncing off an object, like a human face, preserving the details as a 3D image. Imagine breaking a frozen hologram of those pebble ripples into pieces. Even the smallest fragment would still show the entire picture, although it might be fuzzy or distorted. The crucial thing about making a hologram is the interaction between moving energy, like the pebbles making ripples, and energy at rest, like the calm water before the pebbles. To see the holographic image, you need to shine a laser or some focused light through the pattern created by this interaction. Holograms are incredibly efficient. The pattern that makes up a holographic image is spread all over the recording surface, like a photograph, holding vast amounts of information in a small area. The universe is like an enormous, incredibly complex hologram made up of energy fields interacting, some at rest, some moving. According to Carl Pribram and David Bohm, the human mind works similarly. It's also a hologram that connects to the universe through energy exchange, allowing us to understand and experience what we call consciousness. In states of expanded consciousness, like what Gateway aims for, the process happens like this. Energy from the universal hologram is picked up by the electrostatic fields in our minds. These fields project the holographic images onto our minds, and we understand these images if our mind's energy field matches the frequency and strength of the energy passing through it. So, changes in our mind's energy field shape the holographic images we receive from the universe, letting us make sense of what we're receiving. Our consciousness then compares these new images with our memories, noticing any differences in shape and energy. This comparison helps us perceive and understand. Psychologist Keith Floyd suggests that it might not be the brain creating consciousness, but rather consciousness shaping how the brain appears and works. Imagine the process of consciousness like having a 3D grid over a holographic image, making it easier to describe everything in terms of three-dimensional shapes using math, and then simplifying that data to 2 dimensions. Scientists think our minds work like simple yes or no systems, similar to how digital computers operate. So, when our minds overlay this 3D grid on the holographic information and convert it to 2 dimensions, they can process it just like a computer does, by making comparisons. According to Bentov, our minds are always constructing reality by noticing differences. When we perceive something, it's all about spotting those differences. When our consciousness expands, the right side of our brain takes the lead by grasping the big picture in a non-linear, non-verbal way. Meanwhile, the left side, working in tandem with the right, uses its more organized, comparison-based approach to further process and simplify the data into a clear, 2-dimensional form. Gateway's success lies in refining the mind's energy matrix, which expands human consciousness. This expansion allows us to perceive things beyond what our physical senses can grasp, helping us understand more of the universal hologram that's not accessible through normal senses. Marilyn Ferguson suggests that the ideas of Pribram and Bohm explain not just extraordinary experiences, but also everyday unusual perceptions. Pribram's holographic model, connecting brain research with physics, explains regular perception and also includes paranormal or transcendental experiences as part of the natural world. This theory aligns with discoveries in quantum physics, making sense of mystic teachings that seemed paradoxical before. The special ability of human thought, setting it apart from plant or animal consciousness, is self-cognition. Humans not only know things, but are also aware that they know. They can observe their own thinking process and stay conscious of it. What's more, they can judge and assess their thoughts based on certain standards they've accepted as objective. Human consciousness achieves this by duplicating parts of its own holographic images, projecting them out, and then seeing or perceiving this projection. It compares this projection with the memory aspect of its own hologram, where it stores standards for evaluation. By measuring or sensing the differences using 3-dimensional shapes and a simple yes or no system, it gains verbal understanding about itself. The gateway process isn't just about perceiving what's within our known space and time. It's about understanding how human consciousness can go beyond these limitations. To grasp this, we need to understand time and space themselves. Physicists define time as a measure of energy or force in motion. It's basically a way of measuring change. But for energy to move, it needs to be confined within some pattern, which creates location, space. Said another way, time is about measuring energy or change, while space is about confining energy so it has a location. Energy without confinement is boundless, infinite, without form, and exists outside the boundaries of time and space. This infinite energy is in a state of complete rest, known as the absolute. It doesn't create holograms because it's entirely inactive. It can only passively receive and perceive holograms generated by active energy in the universe, but it can't be perceived by active consciousness within the universe. Between this absolute state and our material universe are different dimensions that altered states of consciousness might access. Theoretically, consciousness could expand until it reaches the absolute, where perception stops because the absolute doesn't generate holograms of itself. The absolute is everywhere, spanning every dimension, including our time-space dimension, but it's beyond our perception. It's like a layer that covers everything, similar to the way many other in-between dimensions also pass through our universe on their way to and from the absolute. To enter these intervening dimensions, human consciousness needs intense focus to reach a super-coherent state where brainwave frequencies become incredibly high and seemingly continuous. In physics, the term Planck's distance expresses how any oscillating frequency, like brainwaves, reaches points of complete rest, essential for the wave to change direction. But here's the twist. When the energy hits one of these points for an incredibly brief moment, it exits our regular time-space and joins infinity. When brainwave patterns get super fast, these click-outs get so close that they seem continuous. A part of consciousness is believed to venture into these dimensions between our known world and the absolute, moving at speeds below Planck's distance, but before complete rest. This is like going through a portal into a new world, similar to Alice's journey in Wonderland. The gateway experience and Hemisync technique aim to help consciousness establish a coherent perception in these dimensions. Whether the individual's consciousness is within the physical body or in an out-of-body state. Subatomic particles behave in a fascinating way, showing a curious phenomenon called clicking out. When these particles collide, their energy fields synchronize, leading to communication happening during this click-out phase. This communication seems to defy regular space-time rules, almost like they're moving faster than light. However, it doesn't break Einstein's theory of relativity. Rather, this communication occurs beyond the boundaries of time-space that the theory covers. According to quantum theory, when subatomic particles collide and then separate, they somehow communicate instantly, no matter the distance between them. This seems to violate the rule of nothing being faster than light within regular space-time. Some physicists are exploring theoretical particles called tachyons that might move faster than light, even reaching infinite speeds. Moving beyond our understanding of consciousness entering dimensions between time, space, and the absolute helps us grasp a different reality. Bentov explains that the link between events changes, movements become uneven rather than smooth, and time and space seem fragmented. There, matter can move through space without being tied to time, and events occur without direct cause and effect. Unlike our universe, where time and space are interconnected, in these dimensions, this relationship isn't consistent, causing various distortions and surprises. Importantly, accessing these dimensions allows connection with both past and future, moving beyond our current time-space dimension. When someone's consciousness disconnects from their body, their ability to reach other dimensions beyond time-space gets a boost. With out-of-body experiences, a person can click out a part of their advanced consciousness from a higher starting point. This means less time traveling through intervening layers, allowing more time to interact in those dimensions. Plus, once their consciousness goes beyond time-space, it syncs with the new energy environment, enhancing focus and refining its pattern. This sets off a cycle. As consciousness travels farther, its energy output increases, enabling even further exploration. Essentially, the out-of-body state greatly speeds up consciousness enhancement and interaction with dimensions beyond time-space. For practitioners of the gateway technique, focusing on out-of-body experiences seems to offer faster and more impressive results than just expanding consciousness from a physical standpoint. Let's recap the journey so far. We've talked about the intricate hologram formed by energy patterns from every dimension. Our minds interact with this hologram to gather information processed through our left brain hemisphere for thinking. This hologram is like a finite version of the vast consciousness of the Absolute. Think of it as a deep sea. The calm depths symbolize the absolute dimension, while the stormy waves above represent our familiar physical universe. The in-between currents mirror energy transitioning into or out of rest. The universal hologram is a vast spiral, or torus. Bentov draws parallels between smaller and larger processes in the universe, like how electrons orbit nuclei similar to planets around stars. Using quasars' ability to eject concentrated matter beams, he suggests a similar process generated our universe. Imagine matter ejected from an energy-packed core via a white hole, forming an egg-shaped pattern. Galaxies' movements suggest matter turning back on itself. As matter travels around this cosmic egg, evolving into more complex forms, time measures its evolution from the white hole to the black hole at the other end. The galaxy distribution hints that our universe is near the egg's top, where matter starts moving back inwards. This explains why galaxies in the north move faster away. They're part of the returning matter. The Absolute sits over this egg, feeding the matter stream. As matter travels back toward the black hole, it creates an interference pattern within the egg, forming the universal hologram, or torus. This torus reflects past, present, and future developments, allowing altered consciousness to access this information simultaneously. This model suggests that future events can be foreseen because they're the culmination of past and present consequences within the hologram. Energy patterns collide, creating an intricate four-dimensional spiral hologram that captures the evolving universe's multidimensional story over time. The out-of-body state involves projecting a big part of human consciousness outside the confines of the body, allowing exploration within our world or beyond it. Consciousness drives and shapes energy to create specific realities. As consciousness evolves, it gains self-awareness, called self-cognition. Humans and the Absolute possess this advanced consciousness, but for the Absolute, it's an aspect of its infinite and all-knowing consciousness. When energy rests within the Absolute, it merges into timeless perception. Our consciousness, a part of the universal consciousness within the Absolute, organizes our physical being, but exists independently from it. Consciousness, existing beyond reality's boundaries, is timeless, unlike reality, which has a beginning and end within time-space. When reality ends, its energy returns to the eternal pool of the Absolute. Human consciousness, eternal and bound for reunion with the Absolute, raises a question: what then? Memories, tied to consciousness, endure eternally. When consciousness reunites with the Absolute, it doesn't extinguish the individuality it shaped in reality. Instead, it merges with universal consciousness, keeping its distinct identity and memories. It loses the ability to generate independent thoughts, but gains participation in an all-knowing consciousness. When someone experiences the out-of-body state, they're projecting that eternal consciousness, the essence of their identity, to explore and learn in dimensions beyond their current physical reality. The gateway experience involves specific techniques designed to help users access high-energy states through dedicated use of the tapes. The time needed to achieve advanced states varies based on an individual's sensitivity, mental state, and previous experience with similar practices. It begins with using an energy conversion box to clear distractions. Then, participants learn to resonate by making a prolonged humming sound, synchronizing with similar sounds on the tape. Following this, they engage in the gateway affirmation, acknowledging their desire to expand consciousness beyond the physical body. Participants progress through various steps in the gateway experience. They start by familiarizing themselves with Hemisync sound frequencies, focusing on the brainwave synchronization they induce. Next, they learn to relax physically while these frequencies expand, creating calming sounds to ease into a near-sleep state and enhance right brain attentiveness. They are then guided to visualize an energy balloon flowing from the head through the body, designed to improve energy flow and protect against encountering lower energy entities during potential out-of-body experiences, serving as a precaution if they project beyond the Earth's sphere. After reaching Focus 10, the participant moves towards Focus 12, aiming for expanded awareness beyond their usual experience of reality. Focus 12 involves conscious efforts and the introduction of additional forms of sound into the gateway tape. Once the participant reaches this heightened state of awareness, they begin using specific techniques, referred to as tools, by the Monroe Institute, to manipulate their expanded awareness. These techniques aim to provide valuable feedback for self-discovery and personal growth, each technique being described in detail for their application. A. Problem solving. This technique involves focusing on specific problems an individual wants to solve, expanding their awareness to fill it with these problems, and then projecting them into the universe. By doing this, the person engages their higher self, or expanded consciousness, to connect with the universal hologram, seeking information needed to solve these problems. It can be applied to personal, technical, administrative, or other types of issues. The response to this problem-solving technique may come quickly or develop gradually over the next few days through intuition. Often, the response arrives as a sudden understanding where the individual grasps the answer comprehensively, but might struggle to put it into words immediately. Sometimes these responses come as visual symbols perceived in the Focus 12 state, requiring interpretation once the person returns to normal consciousness. B. Patterning. This technique involves using your consciousness to achieve specific goals in the physical, emotional, or intellectual aspects of life. While in a Focus 12 state, you concentrate on your goal, extend your awareness of it throughout your expanded consciousness, and project it into the universe with the belief that it's already achieved and will happen within the specified time frame. This method is based on the idea that the thoughts created in our expanded awareness form holograms representing what we want to happen, laying the foundation for making that goal a reality. Once this hologram of your goal is in the universe, it interacts with the universal hologram to make the desired outcome possible, even if it might not have occurred otherwise. However, it's important to note that the more complex or different the goal is from your current reality, the longer it might take for the universe to adjust to it. Rushing this process can disrupt your existing reality with significant consequences, as cautioned by Monroe Institute trainers. C. Color breathing. Color breathing is a technique in the Focus 12 state where vividly imagined colors are used to resonate with and activate the body's energies. This method aims to heal and boost physical abilities by balancing and revitalizing the body's energy flows. It works on the principle that our body's electromagnetic field can adjust to draw energy from the Earth's electrostatic field. Imagining specific colors prompts the mind about desired frequencies and amplitudes for this energy adaptation, altering the body's energy patterns. Colors have a known impact on the mind, and their effectiveness in healing is evident. For instance, blue light reduces swelling, while red and yellow have the opposite effect. However, in this technique, no external lights are used. Instead, the mind acts as the sole healer and revitalizer. D. Energy bar tool. The energy bar tool technique involves imagining a powerful glowing dot of light that's filled with immense energy. The participant transforms this dot into a vibrant, pulsating cylinder of energy. They use this cylinder to draw force from the universe and direct it toward specific parts of their body for healing and revitalization. This technique taps into the symbolism of ancient tools like scepters and staffs, which have long been part of cultural folklore and are possibly ingrained in our subconscious as powerful symbols. E. Remote viewing. The energy bar tool can be transformed into a spinning vortex to begin a technique called remote viewing. By doing this, the participant guides their imagination through this vortex, seeking fresh and enlightening insights. The vortex acts as a symbol to cue the subconscious, conveying nonverbal instructions to the mind's creative and intuitive right hemisphere. Living body map. This technique uses the energy bar tool to heal specific areas or systems within the body. The participant imagines their body's shape and then envisions major systems like the nervous or circulatory systems in suitable colors within this imagined outline. The energy bar tool is then used to energize, balance, and heal in the way the participant wishes. They visualize streams of colored energy flowing from the tool into the organ or area needing revitalization or healing. By understanding that colors represent different energy frequencies, this method assumes that the human body, being made of energy, can be rejuvenated and healed by adding energy in the right form. G. Focus 15. Travel into the past. The methods discussed so far happen at Focus 12, an expanded state of awareness. But traveling back in time involves further expanding consciousness by adding more sounds to the Hemisync tapes. Some sounds intensify the basic frequencies to modify brain waves, while others offer subtle suggestions to the mind to support the instructions on the tape. The instructions use symbols, imagining time as a big wheel with spokes leading to different parts of the past. Reaching Focus 15, an advanced state, is very tough. Probably less than 5% of participants achieve it in the Gateway Experience training. However, the Monroe Institute trainers believe that with enough practice, one can reach this state. They claim that at Focus 15, not only can one explore their own past, but also aspects of the past unrelated to them. H. Focus 21. The future, the final focus state in the Gateway. Training aims to explore the future rather than the past, similar to Focus 15, but looking ahead. It's a highly advanced level that's hard to reach, typically requiring extensive meditation or dedicated use of Hemisync tapes over months or even years. Out-of-body movement is discussed last because it's a highly intriguing phenomenon, but it's not the sole focus of the Gateway program. Success in achieving this state isn't guaranteed for most participants. Only one tape in the program deals with techniques for out-of-body experiences. These methods aim to help individuals reach a state where separating from their body becomes more feasible. They use specific brainwave patterns and energy levels associated with altered consciousness. The techniques for separating from the body are simple, like rolling out or sliding out from either end of the body. One way to ensure out-of-body experiences is by guiding oneself into a rapid eye movement, REM sleep state, then using Hemisync tapes. Most people reportedly experience out-of-body states during REM sleep when the body's muscles are still and consciousness in the left brain decreases, leaving the right hemisphere receptive to the Gateway tape's instructions. Using the tapes may not directly cause out-of-body experiences, but might help carry memories of naturally occurring experiences into wakefulness. Some dreams during deep sleep might involve similar altered consciousness as Focus 12, 15, and 21 states. The difference is the left brain's limited involvement in REM sleep, making it harder to recall experiences from altered states. The key to voluntarily inducing out-of-body states in most people involves deep body relaxation, synchronization of brainwave patterns, and heightened alertness in the right hemisphere without disrupting synchronization. The out-of-body, or OBE, state is intriguing for gathering information, but its practical use is limited due to information distortion. People can reach anywhere instantly in this state, but issues arise with understanding information accurately. Many experiments attempted to read numbers from a distance during an out-of-body state, but no one got all numbers correct. This failure seems linked to encountering not only present physical reality, but also past events' energy patterns and possibly thoughts mingling with reality. Viewing holograms pseudoscopically, inside out or backward, might contribute to distortions, too. These challenges hinder the reliable use of OBEs for information collection. Some ancient teachings and philosophies align with modern physics concepts. Everything in our world is really continuous movement, not separate objects. The universe is like a network of pearls, where each pearl reflects all others, a concept found in Hindu texts. I would also suggest connections between these ideas and beliefs from Eastern religions, like the cosmic egg concept, and the Judeo-Christian thoughts about the creation of the world by an unknowable divine force. There are also parallels between these beliefs and the Christian idea of the Trinity, relating the concepts of an energy at rest to the Father, the energy in motion to create reality to the Son, and the idea of a hologram as the agent of creation. Compared to practices like transcendental meditation and yoga, the gateway approach offers faster progress and accessibility to individuals who may be impatient and skeptical. Unlike other disciplines, it doesn't demand lifelong dedication or complete submission to a system. Instead, it promises minimal results relatively quickly, providing feedback to keep people motivated to continue. The speed of progress isn't just about practice hours, but also about using insights to release stress in the mind and body. Initially, rigid individuals might face more barriers, but as they gain insights and dissolve these barriers, the path ahead becomes clearer, shifting the perception of gateway from an intellectual idea to a personal experience. In conclusion, I've outlined a structured approach for using the gateway experience and suggested steps to maximize its potential. I propose a phased method for an accelerated entry into altered states of consciousness. Here's a breakdown of the steps. 1. Start with the gateway tapes to enhance focus and sync brain hemispheres. 2. Introduce REM sleep frequencies for deep relaxation. 3. Use hypnotic suggestions to induce deep auto-hypnotic states. 4. Progress through Focus 12 exercises with enhanced concentration. 5. Return to steps 1 and 2. Then focus on inducing and controlling out-of-body experiences. 6. Advance to Focus 15 and 21 for exploration beyond time-space. 7. Use a multi-focus approach for information gathering in different dimensions. 8. Encourage self-awareness for objectivity and progress. 9. Prepare for encounters with non-corporeal energy forms. 10. Create protective holographic patterns during out-of-body experiences. And 11. Advanced participants build supportive holographic patterns for others. The goal is to explore the practical applications of Gateway through structured experiments, hoping to unlock its full potential.